They don't really need to know how to read.
Wait, stop. Wait,
I ain't gonna say that. I say that respectfully. I'm not saying that in a way to be literate, because you're not supposed to be illiterate, but you can.
What's more important, reading or math?
Math.
Told you.
Math. I think you could listen to a book on YouTube.
Yo, I don't think we should celebrate comedians. They just tell jokes all day. They're very uneducated. They're very class clowns. You know, they've been a problem in school, so you shouldn't celebrate them because they're funny.
And here we go.
And straight like that, we back, man. Everybody doing out there in the world. I hope everybody doing well, doing swell. You dig what I'm saying? That's for me, myself. I cannot complain. And if I did, nobody will want to hear it. So I keep it where it is. So if you like what I'm doing over here on the channel, man, like, subscribe to the content, give me the algorithm, and I will go accordingly. As I always say, you dig me. Now, let's get into this thing. You know, there's a saying out here in the world, man. You never want to meet your idols. You dig what I'm saying? And what that means is, you know, the people that we look to in the sports world and entertainment world, movies, music, this, that, and the third. I guess this could extend to artists and painters and all this. And you know what I'm saying? You look at the works of art that they produce, and you say these are fucking savants. I love these people. I strive to be like them. I would love to meet them one day, be able to pick their brain, see what they're all about. This is a wonderful person in my estimation. You dig what I'm saying? But boy, oh boy, especially now that we have social media, you can look onto your computer, your device, your tablet, your phone, and you can see instances when people happen across these people in regular life. And many times you get the outlook that this is too much information. You dig what I'm saying? Like, you could have kept this to yourself as a person. I didn't even want to know this about you. You know, you've heard various people talk about the GOAT, Michael Jordan, being the supreme asshole in person. You dig what I'm saying? You hear about the rich guys out here in the way that they're tipping purposes. And it's just when you meet them in person, and now that we've got the podcast world jumping off, everyone is in front of a camera with their opinions. And we have many an instance of what I just said. You never want to meet your idols. Now, in this particular case, we're going to talk about one Juelz Santana. For the younger crowd out there, you might have caught wind of him a little while ago. They had a little versus deal. Diplomats against the Locks. Yeah. The Diplomats were thoroughly dismantled by one person, the one Jadakiss. Jadakiss did his shit. So, you know, that's the most recent flare-up, yeah, we'll say. You know, the guy Jim Jones is out here in the limelight all the time. He got a new podcast. He was beefing with Shannon Sharp here a little while ago and beefing with Nas and da-da-da-da-da-da. We all know Camera. You know what I'm saying? These guys made up the Diplomats. And also Freaky, no, hold on. Zeke. Forgot about Zeke. Freaky Zeke, as they call him. So, here a couple of weeks ago, no, like a week ago, actually, Juelz Santana was on a podcast, and he had some things to say about what he felt like were the vital things for a person to secure. You dig what I'm saying? In their skill set as they go forward in life. You dig what I'm saying? He's saying what he thinks is important to him, and we just gonna let him lay it out before we start to opine on what he put down.
Seriously, though, his voice. So we gotta start teaching our kids, though, just financial wealth and literacy and all that. That shit early, because by the time they get to 9th grade, they should be just learning how to start businesses and how to. But they don't really need to know how to read.
Wait, stop.
I ain't gonna say that. I say that respectfully. I'm not saying that in a way to be literate, because you're not supposed to be illiterate, but you can.
What's more important, reading or math?
Math.
Told you.
Math. I think you could listen to a book on YouTube. You can still obtain the information. You don't have to know how to read.
You know, I had to jump in right here at this particular point. Just give ourselves a little while to let this wash over us. Now, you think to yourself, in your mind, which one do you think is more important? Being able to read or Do math. Add numbers. Just sit with it for a minute.
That's not reading and understanding. I believe common sense is better than everything. I'm on common sense. I'd rather have 0 book smarts and common sense, be able to read the room, be able to read life, be able to read people. I try to understand people, understand, you know what I'm saying? Like, nowadays, you can listen to a book. I just listen to the 48 Laws of Power. Not to,
you gotta read your contract, Els.
You don't have to understand. You can listen to that too. They got apps you can put it in and it'll read it to you. Are you crazy? Huh? It probably will. AI will now. That's what I'm saying. That's how freaky it is.
You don't have to read. Be told to you.
It'll be so. I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like you don't need to know how to read.
At a restaurant.
Floyd Mayweather don't read that shit.
Restaurant. Like it's mad. Gotta read.
You saying that? You just gotta know what you like.
You know what I want.
You ain't gotta read the restaurant. You can just say, "What is this? A steak joint? I want steak. I want what y'all steak come with? What y'all got? When the waiter come,
reading way more important.
When the waiter come, you be like, what come with?"
Jesus effing Christ, bro. Juelz Santana. I loved Juelz Santana and what he represented in the rap game, diplomat movement, and all of that. Up until the point when I saw this interview. Juelz said, you ain't got to read the restaurant menu. Just know what you like. You walking in a steak restaurant as if every restaurant is like, hey, this is steak restaurant A, Chinese food B, Mexican food C. Nigga, first of all, these restaurants got names. El Pollo Loco and Fogo de Chao. You dig what I'm saying? I get Papados. All of this. No reason to be able to read the name of the restaurant and know how to call and make a reservation. No reason to read the menu and tell them what you may want. You just look at what type of restaurant it is and say, give me that food. Do you hear this food? Bro say, you ain't, bro, like, dog, you got to be able to read your contract, my nigga. Oh, shit, no, nigga, we put that in the app. We can let AI tell us what's going on. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, and they said, my nigga, you need to use this line right here. You need to tell Juelz Santana that Cameron still got some of his money right now to this day, because this nigga don't think reading is fundamental. Have you ever heard him say math is fundamental? The saying is reading is fundamental. How about this, Juelz? What if I put these numbers that you hold so dear, this math that you hold so dear, what if I put them in words, sir? What if instead of 80, I put the word 80? I got your ass. I got it. He might think I'm talking about 8th Avenue, Harlem. You dig what I'm saying? Just put Harlem in there or something. Harlem World niggas just get excited. Harlem World some zeros. What is he talking? Who is this fool beside him? I told you, nigga. I'm serious, son. The minute Juelz like, yeah, math is more important. This nigga like to jump off the couch. Boy, dumb foolery loves company. You know the saying is misery loves company. But dumb tomfoolery, I mean, oh my God, it adores company. This nigga was waiting on another fool within earshot of him to say, yes, don't worry about reading, do math. He almost jumped out of his... Cuz I'm like, bro, y'all niggas really serious right now, bro? You're serious right now, what you telling me? Then this nigga jumps out with his idea, his example. Floyd Mayweather don't read that, because we've documented it a couple times here on Straight Like That Floyd Mayweather can't read, right? Most recently, Floyd was up on stage touting and promoting the Israeli people and talking about how much he was in their corner. Not 10%, 20%, 50%, but 100%. Here they'll always have a voice as long as Floyd Mayweather is alive. I had to tell them, no one in the black culture pays any of the attention to a Floyd Mayweather. When he fighting, maybe, but the nigga don't fight no more. All he do is jump on Instagram and find a new way to organize his cash money. No one takes him serious. LeBron does. Floyd Mayweather don't read that shit. Nigga, so what? So if Floyd Mayweather don't be able to read, that's an example. Don't be able to read, just be a fighter. He's a boxer, moron. Who is this? And then niggas say shit with so much pride. And you know, I like Juelz, bro, but I feel that this is a perfect opportunity to point out there's a reason that Juelz Santana is Juelz Santana, and there's a reason that Cameron is Cameron. Even Jim Jones for that aspect. Jim Jones got more motion than Juelz. You would never hear Jim Jones or Cameron come out here and say, man, it's more important to be able to read than to write. Had Juelz say, bro, you got to do both equally, but you know what I'm saying, out here in the real world, you know, you run across numbers, you need to do numbers a little more. So, you know, as long as you can just read, basically, you don't have to be able to read 1,000 words a minute or read novels every month. You know what I'm saying? It would have been better. He's standing on business. Just be able to do math, dog. Just add numbers. Oh, my God. But, you know, it opened up a conversation in my mind. I got to thinking because I had ran across some information not too long ago, but it's something that I've ran across a long time ago, but it continues to be true, and I've run across it in my findings and my research for other shows like that. You dig what I'm saying here recently? And it was about the correlation between low literacy rates and the high rate of incarceration. And with that being said, here a couple of days ago, we had one Mike Epps that came out also on the podcast and spoke on just that thing.
That's real. I'm talking about black trauma for black men. All these niggas is gangsters running around talking this street shit. Straight trauma. Nigga.
Went through a lot.
Been through hell.
100%.
You get them niggas to cry, be on the side of the building crying their heart out. You know, because you know, and that's what they do for our youth. We have to start targeting and gearing, celebrating those journeys. Those are the wrong journeys to celebrate, young men. There's no reward for coming home after 30 years. You don't get no fucking care package. You are a failure. Get your ass out here and help these kids, nigga. Pay that back forward. You see what I'm saying? That's the reward.
And in all honesty, bro, I have to let Mike Epps cook. Now, let's talk about how we're talking about celebrating. If you're celebrating the fact that you're just happy to see your loved one, they made it through the struggle, they didn't die in prison, what have you, didn't come back different, great. But too often in our culture, it's a free him, free them, free Kim, free her, free Jim, free Lou. You dig what I'm saying? And they holler it on everything. Now, if that's coming from the standpoint of you think these people were wrongfully incarcerated, you know, given a harsh sentence, yeah, we with you when you're right. But far too often, that's just like a theme song. That's something motherfuckers represent, be ready to wear their shirts and put it all on Instagram. And it's like, my nigga, you only come home if you did something stupid and got caught. You dig? So, you know, I think Mike is saying, bro, don't make that an identity thing. You dig what I'm saying? When he did 20 years, stood it on my neck, nigga came home, and now you can't do shit but probably still be a criminal. Now, I'm from the culture. I got plenty of niggas that went to the pen and came back, and you don't look at them sideways and hope they don't do well, but at the same time, you got to call a spade, bro. Once you get that on your background and in your past, it is hard to go forward. Come out here and be the best man you can be. Pay it back, pay it forward, like he spoke on. But far too often, man, the culture celebrates that as that's the win, just getting out of prison. Well, no, the win is actually not going to prison. Now, I know plenty of socioeconomic factors and this, that, and the third that goes into the environment in which you're raised, which is what causes you to go down particular paths. But it's not an end-all, be-all. It's not just because you come from the hood, not just because your mama was a crackhead and your dad went around. That does not mean you have no chance of going forward and making something out yourself in life. You dig what I'm saying? And so if you go down the path and you get caught doing something, okay, you go and take it to the door, but that doesn't mean that people in our culture should look forward to that, man, and make that shit as something to stand on. And so I completely feel him right there. You understand what I'm saying? And oddly enough, he was on the guy's podcast that apparently can read well that I spoke on, Jim Jones. Yeah, Jim Jones got way more motion than Juelz. Cameron got more motion than all of them, and I think it's because they place value in reading. Again, I will say, someone told me to say to Juelz Santana that Cameron and probably Jim Jones as well has some of your money right now, sir, because you think reading is not fundamental. Let's make sure we keep that in perspective. And so now, After he made those comments on one Mike Epps, of course, it made its rounds around the social media world. You understand what I'm saying? And the always enlightened, ever intelligent pillar of information, Face Blue Schoolyard Shawty, had something to say.
Okay, Mike Epps. I ain't gonna lie, when I seen that video saying that,
where's my controller at?
I knew it was gonna be taken wrong. Just because, you know, people are living a certain lifestyle and
It's not working.
I would be equivalent to somebody coming out and saying we shouldn't celebrate somebody who's on stage telling jokes. They should go to school. They should go to school and go to college and be bigger and better. We shouldn't celebrate nobody on stage telling jokes. That's clowns, you know?
I was a girl, it's also low.
I could be misconstrued as well, you know, so I think you went left, you know, people's lifestyles.
3, 2, 1,
you know,
go.
you can't really speak on people's lifestyles, man. Anybody coming home and did things the right way and kept it solid should definitely be celebrated. If you can get on stage and tell jokes.
Schoolyard Shawty say, hey, I feel it's an apt comparison. Apt, A-P-T. That's for those of you that don't read a lot. You know, just hear these words. Juelz said just hear the words and you'll be good. Apt. A-P-T. He feels that an apt comparison is, hey, what if we went out here and said, hey, man, shit, why is we listening to these niggas on stage tell jokes? He shouldn't be able to tell a joke. If we are not further reiterating the fact that reading is fundamental, I don't know what we're doing. I mean, let's look at Blueface for a minute. Now, before he went in, he had a couple of face tats and things. Blueface came out of prison as if he let a little kid that wasn't doing no reading, just bullshitting around in school, scribbling on shit. He looked like he laid down and let the kid scribble on his face. And this is the guy that is saying, hey, man, this is just like saying comedians shouldn't be able to tell jokes. I'm not understanding where we are. He started off good. He started saying, hey, man, when I heard the video, I figured it was going to be taken wrong. I thought he was finna go in and be saying, you know, I know people's going to be like, oh, man, you on out here. You just talking down on my brother what just came home. And nah, that ain't what he was saying. I thought he was going to go philosophical with this thing. By the time we get to the end of the video, the first part, we got a couple more. Mike Epps is an op. He is an op of schoolyard Crips now.
No one man has enough power to speak on other lifestyles, you know. However people living, if they keeping it solid to that, I think Mike Epps, I think you should just stay in your place, brother. You shouldn't even speak on that type of lifestyle because you're not living that type of lifestyle. So like I said, the best way for me to help you understand is a motherfucker coming out and saying, yo, I don't think we should celebrate comedians. They just tell jokes all day. They're very uneducated. They're very class clowns. You know, they've been a problem in school, so we shouldn't celebrate them because they're funny. You'll be offended by that, right? So imagine somebody living a lifestyle that comes with jail.
Bro, is this not some of the dumbest diatribe you've ever heard? Cause say we shouldn't celebrate comedians because they're funny. They were possibly the class clowns, always silly in class. Nigga, could they read and do math in order enough to pass their assignments and pass their tests and graduate? Who cares about them being funny? Being funny doesn't send you to prison, bro. So we shouldn't pay attention to a guy that's able to make us laugh the same way that we shouldn't pay attention to a 20-year criminal that just got out for second-degree murder. Or, because, you know, he went to jail for shooting somebody. He ain't kill him. So we should view Blueface, let's just say Blueface. We should view Blueface on the same level of caution that we should a Mike Epps comedian. He started with saying no, trying to, I understand Blueface just came home, he right back on his same shit. Him and Hazel eat chicken. I guess they broke up now. She talking shit. Him and Khalil his mama. Christian out here want him to be dead or go back to jail and all. I've seen a couple videos from Blueface. Don't seem like a whole bunch changed. I think he stopped smoking and drinking. Okay, great. I applaud you for that. But Blue started off saying, well, no one man has the power to speak on another man's profession. What even sense does that even make, bro? He's trying to be prophetic. I understand, bro. He's trying to make a change. It's I ain't gonna hold you though, Blueface. It's gonna be hard to take anybody serious. It's gonna be hard for anybody to take you serious. It's just what you present. The smoking and drinking thing, good. Tell that to the youth. Tell them to don't smoke and drink. But I just don't know that there's a lot more coming from the blue camp. It's worth paying attention to. But you keep trying, my brother. I'm here to applaud it. But that statement made no sense. A man with a voice that can talk can say whatever the hell he want to say. Let's just stop right there. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to that zip with the drip. Let's just get to that. I don't really know what he's saying about it. Is there no one outside of a profession that can be able to speak on the things inside the profession? That was probably a much more articulate way to put that, if that's what he's trying to say. But that ain't how he said it, so we ain't going to give him that benefit of the doubt. We just going to give him his ass for what he said. And what he said was completely nonsensical. You understand me? And so, let's hear some more from Schoolyard, y'all.
They should be celebrated because that ultimately what makes them want to be free and do better. So, I see where you're coming from. But at the same time, they ain't gonna fuck with that, Real niggas ain't gonna fuck with that game. I understand your message, brother. You don't want to glorify bullshit. I agree. We shouldn't glorify bullshit. But we should glorify change. We should glorify people staying true to themselves. So, say, not to just keep it about jail. Say somebody's living an LGBTQ lifestyle. As long as they stomp down and keeping it real, we should celebrate them. If they out the closet and they're helping the people that are in the closet come out, we should celebrate them. 2020.
Now I understand that this is probably a question already answered, but is Blueface slow, bro? Blueface goes into make an example about people in the LGBTQ alternative lifestyle. And if they're living in their truth, holding it down, stomping down, then what's wrong with it? Blueface, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Being of the LGBTQ lifestyle is not against the law. Although you have people out here that would like to make it that way. It's not against the law, sir. There's nothing vile, reprehensible, or something to keep your kid away or teacher about that. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't send you to jail. There's no criminal offense inside of that. What are you talking about, bro? This nigga say, we should celebrate them. Cause that's what makes them want to be free. Nigga, you didn't get free from jail because you wanted to be. You EOS'd in the sentence is what they say, or paroled out, probationed out, what have you. You might, even if you got off on good time. Nigga, what about doing a good time before you went in the motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? Cuz say you need to celebrate them because that's what'll make them want to be free. Then he said, I see you don't want to celebrate bullshit. That's what he's saying. But then he said the real niggas not gonna fuck with that. You talking about the real niggas that just got out of prison after 20-something years with no skill set, no background to intimidate and take anybody's job? They ain't gonna fuck with it. Then what? Who cares? Dude, I mean, do prior felons make up the buyer base for houses or CDs or music or movies? Any of this shit, I'm not understanding. So what? They don't fuck with it. They the ones we talking about, bro. You go to jail, you go to prison, what have you, whatever what be it. I've seen 1,000,000 times. But what Mike Epps is saying, don't make this shit out no celebratory situation. And Blueface come on here just waffling around, going back and forth. Now we shouldn't celebrate comedians. We shouldn't celebrate birthday parties. Like, if you can't celebrate and come home from prison, you can't celebrate nothing, is what schoolyard shall say.
It's so fake right now. We need the truth to be more evident. So, for example, comedians, y'all tell jokes all day. It would be crazy if you couldn't take a joke, right? You wouldn't be true to yourself if you tell jokes, talk about motherfuckers all day, but you can't take them.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly have no clue what Blueface is talking about, bro. He went back to the comedian thing about people telling jokes all day, and it would be ashamed if you could tell a joke but not take one. Now, I don't know what he's actually describing at that point. I hadn't heard Mike Epps doing any type of crying or backtracking. I did run across this video right here.
What's up, y'all? It's your man Mike Epps, man. I just want to get on here and clarify and clear a few things up. Number one, about the brothers coming home from prison being celebrated. I've always been a part of reform. I got brothers right now from my hometown that I'm trying to help come home. They've been in prison forever. I think you guys might have misunderstood what I was saying. I might have said it the wrong way, but what I was trying to say is we don't want to send kids mixed messages about coming home from prison, being celebrated, feeling like you got to go to prison and do 30, 40 years to be celebrated. I think you guys misunderstood that, misunderstood what I said. Wasn't saying that it was wrong to be celebrated, but we don't want to send a message to the kids saying prison is great, that you want to go home, go do 30 years and come home.
And I don't think people misunderstood what he was saying. Hard-headed niggas that don't read well, it went over their head. And I don't know that they necessarily celebrated to the point to where our kids think it's cool to go to prison. But I can tell you, when I was coming up in the streets at a young age, it was viewed more of because of the things we were into. It's like, all right, you get knocked, bro. Go sit it down. It was kind of like a badge of honor. But that was amongst, That was amongst the squad. Like, yeah, we didn't think our parents and the people at the church and people outside of us, people at school, teachers and shit like that, we didn't think that they were gonna look at us as in celebratory fashion like you went and did a bid. You know what I'm saying? That was within the group. So I don't know that it's promoted to kids to like, hey, it's cool to go to prison. The gangster lifestyle, the being hard, the NBA young boy caricatures of the day kind of rule today. But I don't know how influential they are to the young culture at large. But that's what he was saying, bro. Quit making it even sound like a cool thing. You dig what I'm saying? And I don't know how widespread that is. Social media these days make you think that every black family or every person with a camera that's showing what this particular category of people is doing on the camera at the time, it makes you feel like they all do that. You know what I'm saying? Black, white, Chinese, Indian, Mexican, all alike, because of the things that garner attention when you get online. You know what I'm saying? So I don't put that on the entire block, but it is kind of a disturbing little trend of just celebrating some of the worst parts of the culture, man. You know what I'm saying? A certain demographic of this thing is gonna look at us and picture that to be us regardless. And so I guess some people say you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But the whole conversation I think kind of went over the heads, at least of the people that are opining on it. And I only had Blueface in this video, but I thought it was an interesting little intersection of opinions on that thing. And like I say, bro, school, isn't for everybody. High school should be for everybody, though. There's nobody out there with the excuse of saying, man, high school and just basic education wasn't for me. Nah, bro, you just a fuck up. You know what I'm saying? You may have had some people have family dynamics and parents that don't do right, and we have to give credence to those nuances. You know what I'm saying? But a basic level of 12th grade education, bro, is vital for everybody. You know what I'm saying? As long as you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide in the numbers world, you should be be good. As far as integers and square roots and geometry and all of this, those are for specialized fields of study, fields of work. You dig what I'm saying? You go out to be an architect or what have you. But these days, you know what I'm saying, you punch something into your software and it's going to come up. I just went through this doing the medical field, doing the whole nursing deal. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of conversions and stuff they teach you. And when you get into the actual offices in these actual buildings, you don't need any of that. You type the shit into a computer and it spits it out to the perfect tenth of it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these things you don't need, but a lot of the things that you would assume you don't need in high school, it's misplaced, bro. It's not a bad thing to be able to read some history and get some bigger words in your vocabulary, learn some different concepts, this, that, and the third. Just being able to add numbers is not going to get you through the world. You can survive and you can thrive. But again, when we make the comparison of a Juelz Santana, a Jim Jones, a Cameron, the two people I've named last are two people that I think you would never hear say being able to read is not that important, as opposed to a Juelz Santana that says that is a fact, and he is third. I guess he's above Freaky Zeke, but in the hierarchy of what these people went on to do with their careers after Dipset, I think statements from Juelz Santana kind of shed some light on why things went the way they went. Now, in speaking on those two things, I have some statistics, some readings to bring to you all that shows a causational link between these two things. Not being able to read well, low literacy, and the likelihood of you being incarcerated for a very long time at some point in life. And it says, low reading levels and the link to criminality. There's a strong correlation between low literacy skills, academic failure, and involvement in the criminal justice system. While low literacy is not a direct cause, it is a significant factor contributing to a higher likelihood of negative life outcomes, including incarceration. And I would just point to, I can read well. I feel pride. When I was in school and they would call me up to read it, even when I'm on this video, when I'm making shows, if I fumble over a word, I feel a bit of a shame. You dig what I'm saying? And I like that about myself. Moving along. Key statistics and milestones, okay? Third grade reading proficiency. Reading at grade level by the end of third grade is a critical educational milestone. Children who do not read proficiently by this age are 4 times more likely to leave school without a diploma than proficient readers, and 6 times more likely for students from low-income families. Juvenile justice system. A staggering 85% of all juveniles who interact with the court system are classified as functionally low literate, meaning they struggle with basic reading and comprehension skills. 4th grade literacy. According to the National Assessment of Adult Literacy, 2/3 of students who cannot read proficiently by the end of the 4th grade will eventually end up in jail or on welfare. High school dropouts. High school dropouts are 3.5 times more likely to be arrested in their lifetime and 63% more likely to be incarcerated than their peers with 4-year college degrees. Adult inmates. Over 70% of inmates in U.S. prisons cannot read above a 4th grade level, and the average adult inmate reads at about a 6th grade level upon admission. We have more. Why literacy is connected to incarceration. Low literacy can increase the risk of criminal involvement by limiting opportunities. It creates barriers to finding and maintaining legitimate employment, leading to financial instability and increased temptation to turn to illegal activities for income, leading to school dropout. Children who struggle with reading are more likely to disengage from school, which can lead to higher dropout rates and a lack of necessary job qualifications, hindering rehabilitation. Once incarcerated, poor reading skills make it difficult to participate in and complete rehabilitation programs, vocational training, and understand complex legal or release documents, which contributes to high recidivism rates. Studies show that inmates who receive literacy help have a substantially reduced chance of returning to prison compared to those who receive no help. And I said, bro, I don't know that the stats or the numbers behind it, but what I just read would seem to bolster the argument. And I said, man, there's got to be more intelligent people that don't go to prison than people that go to prison and come out intelligent. You dig what I'm saying? And he go to prison and get to reading through these law books. He finally learning how to read, finally comprehending this information. Now you can't tell some bitch he ain't Perry Mason. He is Perry Mason, Matlock. I hear all up. 12 Angry Men, he everything involved with court system knowledge, ever know how, anytime, anywhere, anywhen. You understand what I'm saying? And power to you, brother. But the things that led you to not be that adamant about gaining information and being intelligent and well read before you went to prison, it would have been better put doing those things then. You dig what I'm saying? And like again, bro, we ain't knocking nobody to go to pen. There's all kind of reason to go to the pen, but a lot of times it's just because the nigga is a fucking criminal and he didn't strive to be anything more than a criminal, and then he go to prison, and so we shouldn't act like he's made such a big change when he gets released from prison. That's all we're saying, people. I don't know how many people out there mad about it, but apparently Schoolyard Shouter had something to say, and the things he had to say were just completely misput. You dig what I'm saying? But you put a camera in people's face. Everybody got a camera. Everybody's a studio now. If you have a smartphone, you are a television company. You are a media influencer. You dig what I'm saying? No one can tell you otherwise. But to each his own, man. But as far as the culture and the kids, I think you all know better than to think that going to prison and coming out in one piece is anything to be celebrated, bro. Avoid that shit by any means necessary. I don't give a damn who in your family done went to prison. Might be your beloved daddy. Tell him, Dad, I do not want to be anything like you when it comes to going to prison, and he should not have a problem with that. And if he does, get in the comments and let me know, and we'll address it on the next episode. But until then, it's been straight like that. I'm out.
And here we go.
I don't know what kind of vibe you think you got off me, but I don't play that way.